let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we start our session. So, who has taken the final exam? JC, Sarah. Okay. I think Robin has. Okay. Good. I suggest taking it before the final class, just because you do technically have 30 days to finish all the requirements, but once a class is done, I've seen so many coaches like forget the little piece, and then it's just way better to keep it fresh in your mind and get it done as soon as possible. And you can always redo it a week after. So Sarah and JC, any thoughts on that experience? You can't tell them what's on it, but you can share like what it was like.
Oh, I haven't taken it. I thought you said I'm going to take it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take it.
All right, JC, you're in the hot seat then. You want to share about it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say don't stress over it too much if you've been to class. I mean, it was on basic coaching, not specific to wellness, which we knew ahead of time. So, yeah, I would read questions carefully.
Yeah, that's been my biggest tip too, is just read them. If you've been coming to class, you've been coaching.
The study guide did help filling that out, so I kind of already had things in my head.
Very good. Well, good to hear. So, okay, guys, the study guide works. That's what's on the test. Okay, and then checking in with you guys on coaching log. Has everyone been keeping their coaching log up to date? Where that you're going to need to turn that in, not to me, but to Amber. And she's on that email she sent on the 29th. She tells to send that, and that's the one that's for EDU. I highly recommend, if you're going to go for an ICF credential down the road, is move those hours over and keep a running log on the ICF version. That way, when it comes time for you to apply for a credential, you're not like, okay, well, I have hours here and hours there. Just keep it all in one place. And you'll still have access to the materials page. I believe it's a year after your class ends, but I would just get on it now if I were you, because it's easier to transfer over 10 hours, and then whenever you pro bono coach or you do you start a client or however, you can just keep a log of your hours. And then lastly, Kanika, I think you just need to, if you could just email me about our overview. Everyone's overviews have scheduled. A lot of you have already done them, so good job. You guys are all doing great, so that's exciting to see. And then just keep in mind, after you do all those things, you're not done yet. You have to just apply for certification, which is on the email that Amber sent you again. So it's just, you click it, apply it. It basically tells Amber where to send your certificate. So if you've moved, anything like that. Also, you should be getting the new perfected, beautiful version of the book. Has anyone got it yet? Did it come? Okay, my class last night got it. So you guys should be seeing that in the mail any day now. It should also be the hardback copy of the workbook as well. So please reach out if you haven't got that, but I did get confirmation that you will be getting that. Any other general housekeeping questions? Mike, did you have something?
Hannah, will we have access to a soft copy, electronic copy of the new book?
Ooh, good question. I think I can get you a copy. I can get you a link. I don't think the link will change.
And are you talking about the training manual?
Yeah, the training manual.
Yeah, if we could, similar to what's available on the site right now, if we could get an electronic copy of that, that would be really great.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure that won't be a problem. I'll see if I can get a PDF for you, and I'll send it out to the class.
Thank you.
Well, anything else before we move on? Okay, so just make sure to schedule with me if you haven't, but most of you have, so great job. Hi, Kellen. We're just talking about some housekeeping stuff, so you might want to watch back the beginning of the recording, but I did want to let you know that we are having class as normally scheduled on Wednesday, just because that is what works for everyone. So we'll have class Wednesday normal time. All right, well, let's get into tonight. So I wanted to start this class by recalling your guys' mission statements. Do you guys remember when we did mission statements? And passion. So I want you to kind of recall that in your mind, what that was like, or just what you know about your mission or passion. So even if you don't have the statement in front of you. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to go around the room and share your mission as a hashtag. Okay. So to put it down as many little words as possible, or as you think about coaching, like your mission specifically for coaching. What do you want for your clients? Like how would you put that in like a little hashtag? To sum it up, like your purpose as a coach. Or your purpose for coaching, I guess you could say. What do you guys think? JC?
Wait, you want this in a hashtag?
Yeah, see if you can hashtag it.
Hashtag authentic life.
Cool.
Hashtag coaching for an authentic life.
Okay, hashtag.
Or coaching to an authentic life. Something about coaching and authentic lives.
Okay, all right, put your hashtag in the chat. Okay, so hashtag coaching authentic life or something around there.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, JC. All right, who else? And if you just have your mission but you're not sure how to work it in a hashtag, we can all collaborate.
Okay. I think mine was like taking the ordinary to extraordinary or something like that. So maybe it could just be hashtag ordinary to extraordinary. Like the number 2. Ordinary to extraordinary. I don't know.
All right, where's everyone else thinking? What are you guys thinking? Sarah, drop your idea in the chat.
Oh.
I know that's a big one, but I was hoping since we'd already done mission statements, maybe you guys had kind of like some keywords or ideas.
Mine would be around heart, I think, obviously. I've played with a lot of them. Happy heart, purposeful heart. I think mindful heart is where I'm at right now.
Ooh.
But it can still change.
I love that because I almost think, like some people like coaching from the head to the heart, or when you
Right.
Like, when you hear something, you take it from the head to the heart and like what it really means to them.
Right.
That too, but also I like the imagery of that. It's cool. Okay. All right, so drop that in the chat. There's going to be a reason for this. All right. What about Eddie, Kanika, or Kellen?
I'm thinking hashtag live with no stress.
Hashtag live with no stress. Yay. That's awesome, Kanika. Okay, go ahead and drop it in this. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Kellen, what about you? If your mission were a hashtag.
So what is it? What's going on?
We're recalling your mission statement and making it into a hashtag. If your mission or your passion was a hashtag.
Let's see. Probably hashtag mindfulness.
Okay. Do you want to put that in the chat?
Put it in the chat. Let's see. I've been having a little computer problem.
Oh, I'll put it in for you there. If you want.
Okay.
Okay. Hashtag mindfulness. Okay, that's Kellen's. Eddie, what about you? What comes to mind?
Okay. My mission, I can say, is empower people on their own vision. Empower people on their own vision. The hashtag is a empowering club.
Empowering club.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, go ahead and put that in the chat. And I think that's everyone. I wonder what Robin's would be. Like, I don't know. Okay, well, let's take what we have here. So we have Coaching for an Authentic Life, A Mindful Heart, Ordinary to Extraordinary, hashtag Live with No Stress, hashtag Mindfulness, and then Eddie's putting in hashtag Empowering Club. So I want you guys to think for a second. What if these hashtags created a movement or a project? What would that look like? What would a project look like on mindfulness? What would a Live with No Stress project look like to empower people to live with no stress? What's the connection between your mission and maybe a potential project that you might have? What do you guys think? While you guys are mulling that over, I want to share something. One of my really good friends, she moved to Canada a couple years ago and got married. But she's very passionate about fitness, and especially women that or maybe kind of feel stuck at home, or they're kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere, way up north in Canada. And so she's kind of taken it upon herself to get personal fitness training and group training, and she's combining her business with almost like a service project, like almost a way to like continue to give back. And I loved it because as coaches, it is a service profession, right? And I was like, that's so cool. So she's actually donating half of what she makes to what was it? To victims of sex trade. And I thought, like, whoa, that's so cool. So she's like making a difference in multiple ways. And it kind of made me realize, like, we could think so much even more outside of the box with our coaching businesses. I mean, even if it's just for your clients, but how can you really serve them well or meet needs? I don't know if you guys recall, like, how we talked about mission statements, where it's like where your passion and need meet, and that's your mission. And so it's thinking, like, with coaching, how can you serve really well? Or serve in maybe a unique way, like bring a unique product that maybe not everyone is offering. What do you guys think? Mm-hmm. I see some nodding, but Sarah, what are you thinking?
No, well, it's funny, like, I was reading the leadership chapter today, and it was kind of cool because I hadn't realized that this new business idea was really kind of a form of leadership. Like, I just thought I wanted to, then I was like, wow, like, no, actually what you want to do is be a leader and use, like, I want to use all my coaching skills to sort of build this whole therapeutic and, like, a big way of us all connecting together in an app and all this stuff. And it's neat to think about how I can, like, use curious questions and really find out what the people want in a new way that hasn't really been done yet. So that's what I've been thinking. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Does anyone else have other thoughts about leadership projects and coaching? Really? Mm. I love the idea of giving back. I've been seeing more and more coaches that are like also yoga teachers that are doing like donation-based like sessions like once a week, and then they donate to a charity of their cause. And it's really cool to see people rallying together and doing something unique like that. And I feel like it's just really cool to expose more people to coaching that can't afford it too. So it doesn't mean all of it is, but that's just my thought. So in terms of leadership projects, I know like it doesn't really fit with wellness. Like you think of probably your wellness clients, you're like, would they be doing leadership projects? You might see this with students. You might see this with executives. But with wellness, it almost seems like, oh wait, are we going to do this with clients? And it might not be every client has a project. But I was thinking more of like, I don't know if any of you have ever like been around or worked with someone who has a chronic illness, right? I've worked with several clients, and sometimes they feel like their sole purpose is to take care of themselves. And if they were to have a project or like even more of a purpose, it's amazing to see what happens. I know I personally walked through with someone this kind of exercise, and even if it's a little mini project, then be able to do something else for others grew them. And that's what leadership projects are really about, is the more that you do, the more you'll be. And so you'll become more of the leader you're wanting to be by doing, not just like, okay, I need to study how to be better at this. You actually need to do it. And I find what's particular with like chronic illness clients, who feel like stuck or like I just have to take care of myself, just even be able to do something else and serve others in even a small way can really give them a lot of purpose and help them feel better about themselves. What do you guys think? Are there other types of clients in the wellness area that you think would really benefit from a leadership project? Mike, what do you think in terms of maybe your ideal client?
Well, I like the way that this describes leadership, and the way that you just summed it up is really great. The more you do, the more you'll be. You know, in the text, it talked about the project designs the leader as the leader undertakes the project, you know, and so there's that linkage and that interplay between participant and beneficiary, or leader and beneficiary, you know. I don't know how it would fit with my clients, because my clients are very likely to be leaders at a pretty high level, at least from a profession standpoint. But anybody can take on a new leadership project that's outside of their comfort zone, and maybe that's where the growth potential lies, you know. If it's something kind of atypical to your normal life, then the more, I don't know, I could almost see it as being, the further it is away from your comfort zone, the more you have to gain.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Like the project could feel too big. And that's why it's so important to do little steps, and even just a mini project of the bigger project, right? No one sat down one day and started a whole business. They started with a piece. And I think sometimes that can stop people. But you're right, Mike, just even doing something, like you challenge yourself a little bit. And when you see clients, I mean, like, for example, they're feeling like they don't have purpose, or they want to do more for others, or like say they really ponder their mission, challenging them, what are you going to do with that mission? How are you living it out? Have you ever thought of having, you know, like a little project that you could do to further develop yourself into becoming who you want to be? If they're saying like certain qualities they want to become, and so on. But what Mike?
Our discussion of meaning comes in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
definitely, yeah, meaning and just wanting to be challenged, or maybe when someone's bored, right? Asking what needs do you see around you? I love asking people that, and then asking not like, well, what could you do, but what do you feel called to? And it might be surprising, but it's such a helpful conversation to have. And, you know, I would say for clients, you know, just like I said, important to build momentum, take small steps, encourage them not to just take on a huge project all at once, but take steps. Create a mission for it, a mission statement for the project. Maybe even play the game of putting it down into a hashtag, what you want to see happen, or the purpose of it. Like really boil it down, and then what's the small step you can take even tomorrow? Because I think when it's really far away, it's harder to commit to. But if you can challenge yourself step by step, it's really gonna make an impact. And in this, you can really brainstorm. That's what I love about this exercise too, is you can really get in there and brainstorm with your client. because you've seen some strengths in them, you've seen qualities in them, and so you can see, well, what comes to mind for you, and then you can help build on that, ideas for them, and it's just a fun process of just exploring possibilities. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I talk about it or coach around it, it's just really encouraging and it's motivating to like do more myself. So that puts the conversation back on you guys. What project are you working on or want to work on? Did anything come to mind as you read this chapter or as we're talking about it? JC?
One of the things I want to do, especially kind of starting this off in January, is do a few group coaching sessions, kind of like in the form of a workshop. And ideally, I would really like to turn it into a series that could go through the year. But I would really like to focus on like younger folks in the workforce right now, people transitioning out of college into careers, and young professionals.
Very cool. Well, and what do you hope to see happen? Do you have a theme for these workshops too?
I don't know what the overall theme would be, but I mean, I live in a city that, well, a city by Maine standards, that has a lot of new businesses, a lot of younger business owners, and so I would really like to help facilitate connections and really support kind of the culture right now that there is in kind of like this younger entrepreneurial setting.
Mm-hmm. Very cool, JC. So what's your first step, or what step are you currently taking?
So I have been going through Build Your Life's work and following some of those steps. So I have a draft of the workshop outline, and have done some groundwork for laying that out in January, trying not to bite off more than I can chew until my job is wrapped up, but doing as much as I can to brainstorm now.
That's exciting. What have you been learning about yourself and like balancing finishing up your job and starting this new adventure?
I don't say no very well. I enjoy the role of being the person that can take a pile of crap and spin it into gold. So I finally had to put a cap on the things that I was willing to take on before I leave my job, because every time I checked something off, 2 more things were added, and I just kept saying yes because that's what I do. So I learned that I need to say no and set realistic expectations.
Very cool. I'm proud of you, JC. It's so cool to see how far you've come in 6 months and
Thank you.
being able to say no and do what you need to do. So cool. All right, what else? Anyone else? What project do you want to work on or are currently working on? I know Sarah's working on ending one job, starting her own business with a lot of different factors. Eddie has his empowering club, right? Oh, you're muted, Eddie. There you go.
Okay. I have my leadership program. We do a mastermind meeting once a month. We meet, we have a team. Now we are 25 people, 25 persons. And everybody's from my country. They live in Southwest Florida. And we meet once a month to do a brainstorm. Okay, and this is the mastermind team. And we are developing a leadership program. In this program, I teach people from my country in Southwest Florida. Actually, some people from another states, they come to learn how open business, how do we step by step business over here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Actually,
what's the next level of that, Eddie?
next level and be consistent. That means next level is being build up my name with my community. We have in United States around 1 million people for my country, and my focus it is in these people. You know, I have a meeting Saturday in Tampa. We have 18 people for this meeting. It's a leadership program. Then I'm getting started. Actually, it's my second leadership program. Then I do myself.
Very cool. So what would you say is your leading leadership quality? Like what's the runner of the pack?
Say it again.
What's like your top leadership quality that you bring to the table?
Well, what I do now is everything focused in Portuguese and Spanish, but I want development this in Italian and English. But I understand to do this in English, I need to build up my communication skills. It's not good enough. My top is when I have 100 people, then I can do this in different language. That's my top, my.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to serve even more people.
Yeah. What I do now, I focus on people from another country that live in the United States. Because I can talk about my story, I can talk about myself, as a model.
Yeah. So cool. So you're sharing your personal story to support and encourage.
Yeah, is that.
Very cool. Does anyone else have a project you want to share? Or something that you want to do that you're passionate about?
I want to start pursuing wellness coaching full time soon. So this is the project for me right now. So yeah, sometime soon.
Cool. So what stuff are you currently working on besides training?
Currently, I think it's all at work. I think what I'm doing is I'm leading a team of like 6-7 people. So I'm getting a hang of people management, which is quite a project on its own.
Yeah.
Having those one-on-ones, professional development and everything. I think once I finished that, I realized, oh my God, there's work to do as well. So I think, and I'm reading some books on how to be a good manager, like to just make sure that, I know I can do it, but I just want to make sure that I learn something out of it. So yeah, that is what, that is exciting actually. Given the coaching and everything, I like the people angle of things. So yeah, it's interesting so far.
Kanika, have you started Build Your Life's Work?
I did, yes. Yes.
That'll be really helpful in starting your business because it really pulls those key elements that you'll need in. So even if you're doing a little bit at a time, it's so helpful to think and ponder about things.
Yeah, I brushed through it and I remember making a note that I'm going to start soon. And then life happened.
It always does happen.
Yeah. No, but I'm definitely, I think start of the new year, I'm going to get started on this one. That is the plan.
Very cool. Well, I encourage you to find an accountability partner. Like if there's someone else in class that's still doing it, I'd encourage you to partner up.
I'm thinking maybe Sarah or Robin or Mike. Everybody's doing that. So yeah. Help me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, anyone else have projects or things that you want to share?
I think I'm the last one here. So I haven't really thought about this before. It just kind of came to me when you guys were talking about leadership and hashtags. And so I was thinking how cool it would be to bring mindfulness to leadership, like our leadership, our political system, because it's so polarized and it's just so, I don't know, just so sort of out of control. I don't know. I just think there's a lot going on right now, and our lawmakers could benefit from, you know, having a little bit of mindfulness in their decision making. You know, so like, what if you could organize a group of people that went to like local chapters of the DNC or the RNC and just volunteered to talk with them about mindfulness, you know, like just asking the 3 questions of, is it true, is it necessary, and is it kind? And like just trying to get them to think about those things when they're making some of these decisions.
Wow. I see Sarah's face. I wonder what Sarah's reaction is.
Sorry. I was just like, whoa, big. That's really, that's amazing. Yeah. I like the idea of starting just at a small level and going to your little local areas. It's something like that is such a big idea because it sort of encompasses so much of what we do. I like that. I think it's neat. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kellen, I mean, I think even like the local one that might be like, that's a big step. That's organizing people. There's other people involved. What like might be the micro steps before the little step?
Well, making the connection is the first step, I suppose. Just finding like-minded people that feel, you know, this is something that needs to happen, and then just going from there. Yeah, I mean, there might be, you know, and I've never really gotten involved in politics. So if, you know, I'm sure if I started exploring, you know, there are ways to meet people that are, you know, grassroots organizations that could facilitate a project like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I hope it's cool to hear everyone's unique ideas. So I'd encourage you all, and Kellen, I'm going to mute you because I'm echoing through your microphone. So I'll make sure to unmute you so you can talk though. I just encourage you all to have a leadership project because we are leading. You know, we are, especially when you are coaching. You know, it is a service-based profession, and I mean, you could really look at your business as a leadership project. You know, you're going to be serving and meeting needs and addressing pain points so that in helping them get to where they want to go. But then when you work with clients, you know, really helping them to have, you know, they might have their purpose, but what are they doing about it? You know, what is their mission? So even challenging them with a little project. But again, we don't assign them anything, but just even like throwing the idea out there is so helpful. And then the second part of what we're going to look at tonight is core motivation. So I want you guys to recall your core motivation type. I'm not going to pretend to memorize what everyone's core motivation type was from long ago. I think that was week 4. Week 3. That's when we do clients being. That's when we did core motivation. So I want you guys to recall what you were, or what number you most resonated with, or your top 2. And in the book, you have this chart. So it tells you what your challenge is going to be to being an effective leader, and how you tap into your natural leadership style. And what's so cool about this is really taking time to look at their personality strengths in light of maybe pursuing their passion, really helping them lead their life, helping shed light on potential blind spots or their weaknesses. So this is where you might be asking your client to be vulnerable with you. But then I think when you uncover a blind spot or a weakness, there's awareness, there's light bulbs that go off, and then you can do something about it. And that's why it's so important to talk about it. And then you can really design steps from there to really leverage their strengths, but grow, right? So for example, if someone's a 1 and, a challenge for them is making mistakes, right? Because they probably punish themselves, or maybe they avoid taking steps because they know it might not be perfect, right? So, well, what would happen if you took 10 minutes to have fun before you sat down and worked on this or did this? How would that impact how you did? So really looking at how can you bring, I don't know, that joy or like your natural style and bring it into like addressing the challenge. What do you guys think about that? I know for me, oh, Eddie or Mike, are you talking? Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was just saying that I like the way the book kind of drills down into these motivational types, kind of situationally. In the book it talks more general terms. In this terms, it focuses these motivation types specifically on leadership opportunities and talks about what your challenges are going to be, but also what you're going to bring to the table. So I wasn't totally sure where I was in that in those groups, but looking at this, it's much clearer where I am. So,
yeah, even if you don't remember your core motivation type, just even realize looking at, okay, what would really challenge me, or what
right.
I feel is like
Right.
my natural leadership qualities. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. All right. So why is this important? Why would this matter? I think, in a lot of sense, sometimes we stay away from coaching around blind spots or weaknesses. Sometimes we don't want it's hard to point that out because sometimes we have to be direct and and point something out to a client or shed light on something that's going to be hard for them to talk about. But I think it was Mike that mentioned earlier, it's really good to challenge yourself. That's how we grow. If you stay in your box, how are you ever going to get outside of the box if you don't reach outside it even just a little bit? And so I know sometimes it can be, I think we've called this, I don't know, Mike, if John's still calling this in 2.0, like when you're really direct, but like being prickly. In my 2.0 class, we actually called it cactus coaching. I thought that was hilarious.
I asked him the question the other day in a practice session. He said, "Oh, that's a prickly question." I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. So now I know.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we have to be prickly. We have to be direct, but in a gentle way. It's not like I'm going to be mean or anything like that. I still remember coaching someone around, for example, like she would just, instead of owning up to like her job when she had a situation with her boss, she would just complain about her boss. And I like stopped her, like, you need to stop complaining about your boss. And that's not like something I'm telling her you have to do in a way. Like, so she says, well, like you might see how they are taken back by it, like a statement. And then you just ask them, what did you think of that? Versus like, you need to do this. So it's not a command. It's something where you can just, what if you stopped complaining about your boss? That might be a better way to say it. And she was like, no one's ever called me out on that before. Right? Have you ever experienced that when someone called you out on something that no one else had before and you're like, it really kind of ticked you off? I have. There's some things that really get under your skin, but then it brings greater awareness. And I think if we can combine empathy with being a little prickly sometimes, you have someone who really cares about you developing and being the best person you can be, the best version of yourself when you can be. Because if it's all like, I'm just going to let that slide and be nice and happy all the time, or, I mean, well, we can still be happy and nice, but be direct too. So in this is really sharpening our clients, challenging them to become more who they're meant to be, rise to the challenge, tap into their natural abilities, and really step into them and own them more. I love asking someone the question, well, I'm really good at that, but I never do it. Well, what would happen if you owned it? What would happen if you made space in your life for example, perfection's fun or enjoying themselves? Or I know for me, like, I would avoid doing things because, you know, it was a challenge, people being angry at me. I used to be a manager. I had to grow out of that fast because I had to write people up. I had to fire people. And, you know, I had to let go of, like, I'm sorry if you're going to be angry, but I need to do what's right and what needs to be done based on the facts, which was really hard, but it grew me so much. And I had to get over the fact that people are going to be upset or angry at me. Does anyone else have other stories like that where you had to step into or what your natural ability or rise to a challenge like that personally? Again, think about your core motivation type too. Okay. All right, let's go around the room. I want to hear from you guys. You guys are quiet tonight. So core motivation types. What are you? Sarah, what's your type?
Sorry. I know, I think I'm just a little tired.
No worries.
I had two types. I remember I was really like, I think I'm mostly the enthusiast, that one number 7, but then I'm also the artist. So it was kind of a mix of both. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're a 4 and a 7.
I have a little chart. Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Mike, do you remember what your types were or type?
Yeah, mostly 7 with a little bit of 9, I think, mixed in there.
Mm-hmm. Is there one that's more dominant?
I think 7 for sure. Yeah. So that feeling of discontent with the status quo is always there. And I guess because of that, I'm able to take on kind of challenging situations in a bit more calming way than some people are.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I feel like 7s are always sort of just on the brink of growth into something different because we sort of see the grass is greener on the other side a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Like I really resonate with butterflies because I always feel like a little, like I'm in my cocoon and I'm just about to burst into the next, whatever it's going to be, the next stage or the next period of growth. But I think that's kind of a cool thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I love that analogy.
Not being content is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with clients, they're coming because they want growth. They want the next level, right? I think 7s make really good clients because they always want more. And they, you know, it's there's a lot of I think I like how you said it, Sarah. Like they're on the brink of growth, and that's how we should all be. We should all be growing and wanting to take the next step. Mm-hmm. All right, Kanika, what was your type?
I think mine is a 7 as well. There are bits and pieces, like a couple of sentences from 8, like it's frustrating when something is unfair, but that's about it. The other parts I don't relate to, but it's largely 7. So I completely agree with whatever Sarah and Mike were saying. As you can sense, right? I mean, I'm doing my job, but I'm not satisfied. I want to do wellness coaching. So I'm always like, what to do?
Very cool.
Jason? Anna, do you have any feelings for what most coaches are? Like, of all the people that you've spoken with, do they tend to be more of one number than another? Coach candidates?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I've been noticing a lot of 7s. And so even if someone is another number, that they have components of a 7.
That they want to be a 7?
Yeah, or just, like that
Just kidding.
like wanting more, like wanting to learn, or kind of seeing the light on the end of the tunnel, like, or the glass is half full. But I've seen all of them. And I think it's not so much about the type of the coach. It's about like their awareness of themselves. Because I think the more we know ourselves, the more we can help other people know themselves. And so I think that's even a bigger trend that I see, that people that are even more aware of who they are and how they react to things, or where they fall short, where their blind spots are, or where their strengths are. The more they know themselves, I think they're stronger coaches. Or that's kind of a trend I've seen. It's kind of addicting. Once you experience a lot of growth, you want other people to experience growth too. Like Sarah wants to go find a colony of butterflies. Sarah, there you go. Here's a hashtag. Hashtag be a butterfly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, any questions or comments or thoughts on exploring leadership projects with clients, or exploring leadership styles with core motivation? Okay. So what I'm actually going to do tonight, we did a little bit of like questions as you guys were sharing. I want to give you guys a lot of time for practice coaching tonight. So really digging into maybe your business and what your next step is, or how you can more effectively lead your life and step up to the plate to challenges. So we're actually going to combine both of the exercises. And I actually want you to do them like backwards. So I want you to do the leadership project after you do just exploring your leadership qualities and maybe your challenges, and then really dig into talking about action steps and maybe like the project you can work on, and maybe brainstorm together about how you can step into leading your life and leading your coaching practice, or leading whatever else your mission might be. So what we'll do is we'll go, and then I'll pull you back, and we'll kind of debrief on just exploring challenges and natural abilities in leadership based on core motivation. And then you'll go back and explore, well, based on that, what are you going to do? You know where your fault, maybe where your challenges are. You know what your natural abilities are. How does that apply to your mission? Where do you want to be? 2018 is coming, new year. What is your project for the new year? Even if it's not related to coaching, you can look at that too. It's so helpful to just bounce ideas off of someone. So the purpose here is really helping someone step and own their being as a leader. Even if they're not a manager, we're all leaders. We all have an opportunity to lead others or model something for others, or just even leading our own life, and being intentional about who we are and how we live, right? So we're going to do breakout rooms in 2 parts. I want to spend really the next hour in breakout rooms. So any other questions before we go? And we'll actually take a little break in between to debrief and then go back. Any questions? Sarah, do you have a question? No? All right. Well, I just encourage you guys all to just step up another level. I know if we're tired, it can be hard sometimes, but I just encourage you, this is class 23, and think of this as, how can I get the most out of this to really set me up for my new year and leading 2018 well. So I want you guys to kind of be thinking about that. I'll be in breakout rooms with you guys giving feedback. But again, just to reiterate, you're going to start with exploring the core motivation leadership styles. So just explore it. Like, what do you think of it? And then ask your fellow coach questions about their strengths. You know, what strengths do you have in pursuing your passion? You know, you have this hashtag. If you were to hashtag your passion, your strengths or your best quality, what would that be? So you can bring that more. And then, what do you think your blind spots are? Where do you fall short? What are your challenges? And then, you know, what is something you could do, or what's the first step in maybe owning your strengths even more, or becoming more of who you want to be? And then we'll do that for about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll really dig into, we'll come back, debrief, and then we'll dig into the leadership project. Sound good? Okay. All right, I'll be there with you guys. I hope it goes really well. Have fun.